every year there are a handful of teams that fly under the radar and don't get much coverage. And then there's another truckload of stories that go under the radar each season that never get covered at all. And this is kind of where your team-specific YouTube channels come into play, and football commentators like Brett Coleman and Alex Rollins kind of fill the void. And, this is where they make their bucks. But this offseason, one of the free reoccurring topics is the battle between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. In case you haven't heard, the narrative is that the Buccaneers Brady and the Buccaneers face off week 4 in the upcoming season in New England versus the Patriots. And it's everyone's game to watch because Tom and Bill, are trying to stick it to each other and to prove, who was the lead dog of that dynasty. And furthermore than that, Bill is out to prove that he can do it without Tom Brady and that he's the man. And there are segments saying how Bill has the most to prove out of everybody and whatnot. And check my math, guys. But as far as I remember, Bill Belichick did go 12-4 or something along those lines when Tom Brady tore his ACL and was out for a whole season. And following the Deflategate scandal, Bill Belichick either went 4-0 or 3-1 with Jacoby Brissett. I know it's Brissett, but with Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo, and I believe there was a third quarterback thrown in there. I know the Patriots fans will let me know. But he only lost like one game. I don't think he actually lost. But anyways, so Bill has already shown the world that he can win without Brady, but nonetheless, Bill Belichick does have a lot to prove this season, mostly due to the media kind of putting that on him. Everybody else is just like, it was going to happen eventually. You have to have a losing season eventually, but whatever. If you watch NFL Network and other sports channels, they will tell you that Bill Belichick has the most to prove. Cliff Kingsbury is in a hot seat. Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, all those guys, right? But to be honest, the coach with the most to prove is Sean Payton. Ever since Drew Brees retired, you've heard virtually nothing about the Saints, to the point where I honestly don't even know who they drafted, and it's like a week or two after the draft. So the Saints basically have been damned to mediocrity by the media, and every time you hear the New Orleans Saints, it's prefixed by the Breezeless. To be honest, I think Sean Payton and Jameis Winston are the most doubted head coach quarterback duo in the NFL right now. And if you're looking for your dark horse team this year, place your bets on the Saints. Now, let me end this with some evidence. So check this out. So the quick answer people are going to give you for the Saints losing when they do their when they do their season predictions is going to be because they lost Drew Brees. And we don't know what they're going to look like without him. Well, although these guys watch way more football than I do, and they also get paid a lot more than I do to watch the damn sport, I can tell you this. The Saints made it to the playoffs a handful of times, I think actually every time, but a handful of times over the last few seasons. Each time, they were a few plays away from the next round or even the Super Bowl if you discount this year. There was the Minneapolis Miracle, the missed PI call followed by Drew Brees' interception in overtime of the Rams game, and then this year getting dominated by the Buccaneers. Now, that's all I can remember off the top of my head. I know a lot of Saints fans are going to pop in for this one. Y'all can probably tell me more in the comments. But over the last 2 seasons for sure, they had Drew Brees was on a steady decline that was well documented. Despite that, the Saints always found themselves in at least the divisional round. Also, Taysom Hill gets sprinkled in a hell of a lot. So discounting the Saints for not having Drew Brees is kind of lazy. It's kind of like, why? Why? Because Sean Payton has made the playoffs with Drew Brees on 45%. The man's playing with low batteries, bro. And now he gets Jameis Winston, who's on 100% and being doubted more than anybody. And as much as we make fun of Jameis Winston, he is a hard worker. He is a dog. So, But now, once again, I'm not saying that Jameis Winston is going to break out and lead the Saints to the NFC Championship. But I am saying these dudes ain't finna be picking in the top 10. And they definitely are the second best team in that division. And that's only because the Bucks are the Chiefs of the NFC. I know this was a quick one, but I honestly do believe that Sean Payton has a lot more to prove. Judging that everybody is just saying, oh, you don't have Drew Brees? Yep, you're losing now. That's cool. It was great while it lasted. And Sean Payton's like, Bro, I can cook too, bro. I can cook without him. What are you talking about? I think Drew Brees missed some games and they still they had a positive win record without Drew, and that's using Taysom Hill. They didn't start. They had Taysom Hill, not fucking Jameis. Jameis didn't know the offense, or he wasn't starting for one reason or another. But come on, put some respect on Sean Payton, bro. They do need to talk more about that, though. They do need to talk about Sean Payton trying to go out and prove that he can win without Drew Brees. But the only thing they talk about the Saints is how they're in cap hell and they can't afford to pay all their starters, and we don't know if Taysom Hill is going to be starting or if it's going to be Jameis Winston, and that the whole 9 yards of that. But until we meet in the comments, envy no man, because we know we up next. Sponsored by Atari. And